Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Shang. According to Microsoft, Chinese cyber attacks preyed on Microsoft Exchange Server vulnerabilities to swipe information from a wide array of US entities. Cybersecurity researchers at Volexity assisted Microsoft, and they assessed that the attacks began as early as January 6, 2021, the same day of the riot at the US Capitol. Microsoft attributed to the malicious cyber campaign to a group it calls Hafnium, a state-sponsored group operating from China. Microsoft Vice President Tom Burt wrote on the company's blog that Microsoft has not previously discussed Hafnium, and it believes the China-based group conducts its operations from leased virtual private servers inside the US. According to Mr. Burt's writing, the attacks included 3 steps. First, it would gain access to an Exchange server either with stolen passwords or by using the previously undiscovered vulnerabilities to disguise itself as someone who should have access. Second, it would create what's called a web shell to control the compromised server remotely. Third, it would use that remote access run from the US-based private servers to steal data from an organization's network. The primary targets and victims of Hafnium attacks in the US included infectious diseases researchers, law firms, higher education institutions, defense contractors, policy think tanks, and non-governmental organizations. The global cyber attack has claimed a number of high-profile victims, including the European Banking Authority and thousands of businesses. The Biden White House said the hackers remain an active threat and that companies should patch up their softwares as soon as possible. The Chinese government has so far denied responsibility for the hacking campaign. Ironically, Microsoft acknowledged on March 2nd that Chinese state-sponsored hackers used vulnerabilities in Microsoft Exchange's software to install malware and access the emails of thousands of victims. The tech company has nevertheless barreled forward in its Chinese business plan, announcing on March 4th, 2 days later, that it will expand its cloud computing service Azure. The move is meant to empower Chinese citizens who live in the country with some of the most heavily censored and monitored web space in the world. Elaine Crozier, Microsoft's head for the Greater China region, said in a statement, quote, "Our intelligent, trustworthy, and a neutral cloud platform has been empowering hundreds of thousands of developers, partners, and customers from both China and the world to achieve more with technical innovation and business transformation," unquote. The Azure expansion is the latest sign that the Chinese hacking campaign has had little impact on Microsoft's decades-long relationship with China. It has outsourced a large portion of its research and development department to the authoritarian country, where it has had a presence since 1992. The company also partnered with a Chinese military university to conduct research into artificial intelligence. The Azure expansion plan will build a new cluster of data centers in northern China, speeding up the cloud service for Chinese users in the region, according to a press release. The cloud service employs Chinese company 21 Vianet as a local partner. As China's leading data service provider, 21 Vianet also conducts business with other Chinese tech companies such as Alibaba and Huawei, which US officials says act as conduits for Chinese state espionage. The Azure cloud computing service includes facial recognition software, a feature that might be attractive for authoritarian regimes. The company touts that no machine learning expertise is required to operate the program, which can search through a repository of up to 1 million people. Chinese authorities are increasingly using facial recognition to police their citizens, including the Muslim Uyghurs in Xinjiang. Microsoft has nurtured a close relationship with Chinese entities over the course of nearly 3 decades, counting more than 17,000 partners in China. Despite the pandemic, Microsoft has continued to recruit even more local business partners. In December, Microsoft said it partnered with Huawei's spin-off company to build laptops in the country. Microsoft also built its largest R&D base outside of the United States in China, employing more than 3,000 engineers and researchers located across 4 separate Chinese cities. It said its Chinese R&D division will contribute to China's prosperity. On its website, it said, quote, Microsoft Asia-Pacific R&D Group's teams are spread across the region, located in tech parks and recognized hubs for innovation. These campuses are strategically positioned to take advantage of and contribute to China's rapid transformation to an innovation economy. Unquote. It has become increasingly clear in recent days that the Chinese state-sponsored hacking poses many of the same challenges as the SolarWinds attack conducted by the Russians, although the targets and the methodology are significantly different. In 2014, Chinese hackers stole 22.5 million security clearance records from the Office of Personnel Management. China has clearly planted backdoors to American systems that could be used for more destructive purposes. 4 years ago, a vast majority of Chinese government hacking was conducted via email spear phishing campaigns. But over the past few years, China's military hacking divisions have been consolidating into a new strategic support force, similar to the Pentagon's Cyber Command. Some of the most important hacking operations are run by the stealthier Ministry of State Security, China's premier intelligence agency, which maintains a satellite network of contractors. Beijing also started hoarding so-called 0 days, flaws in code unknown to software vendors and for which a patch does not exist. In August 2019, security researchers at Google's Project Zero and Volexity found that Chinese hackers were using a software vulnerability to spy on anyone who visited a website read by Uyghurs, an ethnic minority group whose persecution has drawn international condemnation. For 2 years, until the campaign was discovered, anyone who visited the sites unwittingly downloaded Chinese implants onto their smartphones, allowing Beijing to monitor their communications. The Chinese attack on Microsoft servers used 4 0-day flaws in the email software. The United States government has not made public any formal determination of who was responsible for the hacking. But at the White House and on Microsoft's campus in Redmond, Washington, the fear is that espionage and theft may be a prelude to far more destructive activity, such as changing data or wiping it out. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly.